Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone's well. Time to hit your phones again. Time to showcase my presence. There's something that really bothers me today. Something that I read whilst I had a little bit of downtime during the afternoon. Because it turns out some of the Bangladeshi Islamic community basically went down to Whitechapel to try and oppose this UKIP march, with one of the so-called community leaders handing out balaclavas for a £5. And their little slogan, no face, no case. Pretty much the antithesis of the Unite the Kingdom march, which Tommy Robinson did, where if you basically had a balaclava, face covering or anything to mask up, you weren't allowed to come. Because here's the thing, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. Who said, how can you hide a love that large? Shut up, you. I'm not that bad. For fuck's sake, man. But no, in all seriousness, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear at all. And last time I checked, when we all started attending during that little rally, the Unite the Kingdom protest, last time I checked, I didn't see anybody breaking the law. I didn't see anybody inciting violence, inciting hatred, being racist, being sectarian. And yeah, I accept maybe I wasn't down there as long as I would like. But you know what? At the end of the day, all I saw down there was people like fucking hell. Stroke number 1, demonstrating their Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. Stroke in 90 seconds, for fuck's sake. Or is it 100? That's the trouble, I can't help this. It's just one of those things. I can sometimes go several videos without a stroke, and then there are times where I'll have 3 strokes in the space of a minute. But all I saw was people demonstrating their right to free speech, or what should be free speech, until Keir the traitor Starmer decided he was going to crack down on it. But here in the Islamic community, what we have are people who don't want to be identified. These people who are going around masked up, who are effectively wanting a confrontation with us, well, they figure if your face isn't shown, they can't pin you in. Though to be fair, they probably even don't... Fuck, stroke number 2. They probably don't even need to do that. Oh, I can tell this is going to be a spicy one, isn't it? Oh, there goes the bloody bus as well. Looks like I'm walking the other direction this time. But I already know this is going to be spicy with 2 strokes in under 2.5 minutes. They don't even need to do that because our 2-tier policing society, and of course, more importantly, Keir the traitor Starmer, they're too busy dishing out our taxpayer money to protect these invading communities. And yes, I do call them an invading community, because that's what Islam has been doing over the last 2,000 fucking years. I kind of want to say that they're just jealous that we've built a civilization whilst they're still busy throwing sticks and stones and tossing people off of buildings. Only there's no bungee cord attached to their feet. These parasites, because that's what they are, they thrive on conquering other countries, dominating other religions. We have clerics, imams, whatever you want to call them, that are in their little mosques preaching, effectively, that they're not here to assimilate or cooperate with other religions or other people or other countries. They're here to dominate. You could literally stick Keir the traitor Starmer and the mainstream media in front of a fucking blackboard with 1 + 1 = 2 and ask them, so what's 1 + 1? And they'd still somehow find a way to answer you 5. These Islamic community leaders, as they like to call them, they should be arrested if they are effectively saying no face, no case, because what they're effectively doing is advocating for you to mask up and then go and commit, well, basically commit some crimes, law break. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. I wonder how our stormtroopers would react if we told our people, right, let's mask up, let's cause some trouble. There would be a copper feeling your collar so quick, you'd almost think the Flash came and did a drive-by. It boggles the mind how these Islamic scumbags can even go out of their way, whilst out on the streets, preaching anti-Jewish bullshit, anti-Semitic rhetoric. Fuck, I think I'm beginning to transform into the mainstream media. Anyway, they keep using this anti-Semitic rhetoric of Alan's snack bar, basically kill the Jews. And remember what they did when they were over in Israel. We know what that prescribed T group that begins with H and ends in S were doing. How they were beheading children. And what's even more sickening is people, I think like Alex Phillips. I think she even saw some footage of these guys communicating this to their families, that they're murdering children. And the families are sitting there egging them on. Like, yeah, go on, you go and butcher those babies, bring us some heads and all that stuff. Again, the mainstream media is not going to tell you that. And people wonder why we've had enough. People wonder why we're sick and tired of these Islamic invaders, mostly from their third world shitholes, coming over here, preaching their hate-filled rhetoric, thinking that they rule the place. They think that they're allowed to come here and dominate. The trouble is, if we had anybody with even the slightest set of balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, we would have told these third world shithole wankers to go back to said third world shitholes and take their hate-filled rhetoric with them. Why should Islam be allowed a free pass to basically slag off the Jewish community, or even the white or black communities? Hell, here's the thing as well. The mainstream media also tried to make out that there was a racially motivated attack on a mosque, even though you can't be racist against a religion. Turns out, though, the person who attacked this mosque, it was another Muslim. So they couldn't even get that right. They couldn't even spin the narrative on that. This is a very scary precedent our oligarchy are setting, where they can effectively give Islam a free pass to do whatever they want. Yet if we criticise those that go around violating our women and children, if we criticise the hate-filled passages in the Quran, they will send the boys round and our doors will get kicked off. Just like that. They're allowed to go and attack Christian people and not face any consequences. Do you think that would happen if it was the other way round? Like fuck would it? As soon as somebody lays even a single finger, let alone a fist, on a Muslim, you bet your ass that copper's hand is going to be on your shoulder, on your collar, quicker than you can say shit. And let me be clear, I'm not advocating for anybody to attack anyone, because frankly we should know better, and we should know full well that that's against the law. I'm not going to advocate for that. But what I am saying is that there's clearly a very clear divide between the left, the right. There's a clear divide between Christians, Jewish people, Sikhs, Hindus, and then you have Islam on the other side. But Islam, the ones who are basically acting as the bully, trying to steal the kids' lunch money, they're trying to pretend that they're the victim. Not every Muslim is like this, of course, in our two-tier policing society. But unfortunately, the cold bitter truth is, how many attacks, how many terror attacks have we seen from the Islamic community recently? And then compare it to how many attacks that we've seen on Islam. I know some people are going to point out Christchurch, and I condemn the fucker who shot them up, quite frankly. There's nothing else you can do. Because that's the thing. Anybody that wants to live here peacefully, I have no problem with. I have a problem with the people who practice Sunni or Shia Islam and want to bring their invasive culture, their invasive mentality onto our people and our soil. But I want you to think about that attack on a Manchester Arena concert. I want you to think about the 7/7 attack. I want you to think about the 2017 attack on the London Bridge where people got stabbed. I want you to think about the time where these Islamists even went to a school. One of these Islamic scumbags went and unalived a child. And then, most prominently, of course, we have Axel the Darkwood Banana, who ended up going to a Taylor Swift dance concert, and he brutally stabbed 3 girls, and stabbed many others as well. But those 3 girls, God rest their souls, lost their lives. The only thing you could even remotely pin on our community is the attack on Finsbury Mosque, which, while I wasn't around specifically to talk about, I condemn the person who attacked those people in Finsbury Mosque, and Tommy Robinson did the same. Do you see any of us glorifying violence against Islam? No, you don't. But you see plenty of left-wingers inciting and glorifying violence against anybody who has a different opinion to them. We have Islamists who are actively saying it straight from the horse's mouth. Why the long face? Anyway, they are saying unequivocally, they're not here to integrate. They're not here to work with us. They're here to take over. That's why they practice their teachings of their hate and violence-filled Quran, which says that they can take white women as slaves. And I'm not talking about the regular kind of slaves. I'm talking women of the night kind of slaves. We have teachings that tell them that they need to basically hate anyone if they're not a Muslim. We have teachings in the Quran that tell them to slaughter us dirty kafir, kafar, kafaful, whatever you want to bloody call us, or call it rather. But again, I can pretty much say, you can say it with me, that's something the mainstream media are not going to tell you. That time-old saying, the turkeys celebrating Christmas, has come right back round. But apparently we're not allowed to talk about that kind of thing because it's Islamophobic. Apparently it's racist, even though you can't be racist against religion. And Islamophobe, God almighty, Islamophobe is merely a made-up word. It is meant to silence debate, silence criticism, prevent people from mentioning the bad points of Islam. Maybe what we should do, maybe we should beat them at their own game. Maybe someone should start a petition calling for Christophobia to be put into English law, to make it so it's against the law to criticize Christianity, Jesus Christ, and of course, the man upstairs. Why don't we do that? And let's see how willing Keir the traitor Starmer is to bring that into effect. Because after all, if they're willing to make Islamophobia a thing, you know what they say? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I think I have a sneaky suspicion that Keir the traitor Starmer would scoff and laugh it all the way down to the circus. But I'm deadly serious about this. I think somebody should implement that. Because at the end of the day, Islam is very intolerant of other religions. We already have the term anti-Semitism to describe anti-Jewish sentiment or anti-Zionist sentiment. We need something for anti-Christian and anti-Christ sentiment and all that stuff. Then, when Islam decides to criticize our God and say, your God, because I'm not fully into Christianity, but when they criticize your God or your beliefs, you can then go around and say he's Christophobic. But now I think there's like 3 other things I want to talk about. We'll get the shorter ones out of the way before we get on to what I believe, and more importantly, what more people are beginning to say. So first and foremost, remember that epping illegal that was trying to basically kidnap and violate kids over in the Bell Hotel? The one that got accidentally released? Well, David Lammy seems to think it's a laughing matter. When the MPs were in the Houses of Treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, he just sat there laughing his bollocks off. It seems David, the Archbishop of Racism Lammy, doesn't think that this potential predator of kids is something that should be taken seriously. Don't take my word for it. Take his actions for it. Thank you. It's honestly absolutely disgusting that he thinks that this is all just a joke. He doesn't think that this potential threat to our kids is anything other than a laughing matter. I wonder how he'd feel if it was his kids in danger. Do you think he would be laughing then? Something tells me no. I always knew standards for becoming a politician was low, but I didn't know that you only had to have a single-digit IQ to be able to be a politician in the Labour Party. Or again, maybe I was right first time. Had I have known it was going to be that easy to get in, maybe I'd have signed up, infiltrated the Nonce Party, and I'd have actually got this fucking party turned into something that actually resembles a true working class party. You know, the same lies that Keir the traitor Starmer said that he was effectively making his party, how he was going to deliver change. The only change he's delivered is straight into his back pocket, quite frankly. He's fleeced taxpayers, he's fleeced the elderly, he has fleeced every Indigenous person in this country. He's raised taxes, he's raised utility bills, he's effectively made it so landlords are going to have to raise their rent. He's made it so that he's basically handing our money over to Pakistan and Syria, terrorist-run countries, with our money. And he's using that money to fund these invaders from their third world shitholes. Of course, the left are not going to like what I have to say, but here's the thing about me, and you lot can say it with me. I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I'll do my best not to bullshit you. Meanwhile, Keir the traitor Starmer, you'd be lucky if he told the truth about what socks he's wearing. I wonder if that song, "A Wank with White Socks On," springs to mind. Bottom line, as far as Lammy's concerned, this man should have been fired. He should have been sacked for his disgusting attitude towards this Epping invader. Basically, the moment he was laughing. If I found out he'd done that and I was leader, he'd be out on his ass, just like that. Why should we allow somebody like him into our Houses of Parliament? God damn these fucking nights. I'm losing more and more light as time goes on. My shadow's not causing it. Shut it. No, I'm not that bad. But no, this is the thing. We need politicians in those houses that actually care for this country. Not the spineless, sanctimonious wankers that we have who are more interested in serving BlackRock, the WEF, and of course Davos, who Keir the traitor Starmer absolutely fucking worships at this point. But here's something else that I think should be quite concerning for all of you. Because obviously that scene with the Bangladeshi Islamic community, that scared Nigel al-Faraji, whatever you want to call him. And I don't blame him. For once, I actually don't fucking blame him. He's actually right on this. But there is something else that is even scarier still as far as this is concerned. And that's the fact that David, the Archbishop of Racism Lammy, he's also going to be responsible for voting on the sentencing bill in that little debate we had. I figure, or not debate, the petition that we had. I believe it was the one about sentencing for online media posts, and he's going to be voting on that. Frankly, I don't think anybody as dangerous as Lammy or Starmer should be allowed to vote on that. Because, let's face it, we all know exactly how those two motherfuckers will end up voting. But perhaps on to the most important thing of all. which is something that has come out from Combat Ready HQ, I believe the channel was. I think I've mentioned them before, but I'll be linking the video I'm going to be talking about in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. And that is the fact that he firmly believes civil war isn't coming, it's already here. And to be fair, I can understand where he's coming from, as the thing with Islam is it isn't just they hate us. Sometimes we see it in other countries. We see it over in the Middle East, in the Southeast. We see Muslims kill Christians, Muslims kill Jews, Muslims kill women and children, Muslims behead babies. Muslims will kill other Muslims as well. Because that's something a lot of people don't talk about. I know Tommy Robinson mentions it from time to time, but the thing is, when you become part of Islam, there are very serious consequences if you decide to turn away from the intolerant teachings of Islam. If you turn away from Islam, they mark you as an apostate. And those that know will know exactly what I'm talking about. But those that don't know, apostasy in Islam is punishable by death. And I've only just found this out now, as I've just logged onto YouTube to see what's going on. Turns out there's even more evidence of how intolerant these extremists are. Because a 22-year-old Afghan national, he's gone and stabbed 3 people. And one of these men, they're dead. These people cannot and will not integrate with Western society. They have made that clear time and time again. As I said, I bring you back to the point I made about the blackboard, where you could hear the traitor Starmer and the vast majority of his nonce party in front of that blackboard, and they see clear as crystal 1 + 1 = 2, and tell them, what does 1 + 1 equal? And they'll all still somehow find a way to give you everything but the right answer. But what's even more sickening, as I scroll down this, apparently this triple stabbing is not being treated as an act of terrorism. But you know what does get you labelled as a terrorist? Being Tommy Robinson. Wanting to protect your journalistic content from fraudulent abuse of counter-terrorism powers on a man who is the most persecuted man in the state at this point, probably the most persecuted man in the world. Tommy Robinson, they are trying to basically charge him as a terrorist so that then millions of us who support Tommy Robinson, and maybe they'll even put it elsewhere as well. Maybe they'll bring it in as law that you can't support Tommy Robinson in every other fucking country. But it means tens of millions of people could end up being arrested for supporting Tommy Robinson. Just like that. But apparently going around stabbing children, stabbing men and women, apparently that's not an act of terrorism. Sickening, isn't it? Sickening how we keep being gaslit by the oligarchy's mouthpiece, the mainstream media I'm talking about, of course. I am sick to death of these treacherous bastards being allowed to get away with murder. I am sick to death of these accidental releases of dangerous individuals, mostly from third world shitholes, endangering our communities. And then these Islamic scumbags in our own towns and cities declare no-go zones that we're not allowed to even walk in. Birmingham, London to begin with. What happens when it starts spreading further up? Or worse, further west. But I am deviating a little bit. Let me bring up the point from Combat Ready HQ that civil war is effectively already here. We see it more and more, how we have basically been absolutely stretched to our limits. We've been pulled, we've been pushed, we've been turned upside down and shaken for our fucking lunch money. But in all seriousness, we have been used and abused like a fucking dispensable razor. We have been abused by the people who are supposed to put the English first. We have been treated like dirt by the people who are supposed to be protecting our soil from these invaders from the third world. I know he went on to say that we are a powder keg. I think it's a little more intricate than that. I think it's a hand grenade. And I think right now, all it takes is one more spark, or in this case, one more incident, and the pin gets pulled. And then you've got a live grenade on your hands. And then you will have a problem. Our people have been pushed to that absolute limit. Mass civil unrest is very prevalent in the United Kingdom and just as prevalent, if not more so, in Ireland. We have seen time and time again, our UK government has actively refused to admit who are responsible for most of the rapes, most of the terrorist attacks, and most of the basically degradation of our cultures and our society. It is those from the Islamic community, mostly from Pakistan. And yet we have to sit here and listen to race-baiting wankers like Narinder Kaur saying, "Oh, I'm so upset, I'm going to block people who use the term Narinder Kaur, use the term race bait because it's used to silence people of colour. Oh, boo." Like, fuck off, bitch. Are you serious? I want to know where you got that crack you're smoking. Like, no one's targeting you, Narinder, for the colour of your skin. They're targeting you because you're just a reprehensible piece of shit. Learn to read the room. Which is why you probably should have studied a bit more in English. Anyway, you need to read the fucking room, Narinder. You have been race-baiting us for years, if not over a decade. You have constantly tried to label us as racist, and yet, ironically, who is the one who's also been known, who called out these Pakistani rape gangs, who used the P term, who used the four-letter word, Seriously, not amused face. Yeah. You know the old saying, Narinder Kaur? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Though, to be fair, you kind of do look like an Islamist. Not saying you are, but you do look like one. And we all know the Islamists, when it comes down to homosexuals, they take a very dim view and they love throwing their stones. And yet, they love to preach that they're the victims. I guess there must be a massive fucking glass house over in the Middle East that I am not aware of right now. There must be a huge glass house sitting here in Birmingham, which we have not discovered yet. If anybody finds it, please mark it on a map and please share it with me so I can fucking tell everyone. I swear to God. Because it's absolutely ridiculous how much Islam loves to play the victim card when they're the ones who have basically got their hands in the cookie jar. Now, this is going to be a warning for the airsoft gun that I've got right in front of me. For context, it's a two-tone gun. I've got no need to have a UCARA license as two-tone guns don't need it. But before long, as I said, one spark is all it takes. And all of a sudden, we are going to see civil war in this country. And we know the Islamists are armed. Some of these people are armed with handguns. Some of these people have other weapons. After all, we may have the world's strictest gun control, But doesn't it ever strike people as odd that Al-Muhajirun, and I can't believe I fucking remember this group, but anyway, Al-Muhajirun, when there was a raid on one of their properties, it turns out that there was a sniper rifle with tracer rounds in it. And anybody that doesn't know, tracer rounds basically act as like a sniper's guide, if you will. So rather than the bullet flies by and you may see a little bit of a puff, like where it lands, a tracer round actually, it lights up like a fucking Christmas tree, and you can see where the bullet is going and the stroke number 3, the trajectory of the bullet. So you know how to adjust. It is stuff for real killers. And yet we have police from the 2-tier policing society who, oh, wrong way round, who are literally telling Islamic extremists, these mullahs who are armed with machetes and blades, go and deposit your weapons back in the mosque. Do you think they'd do that if it was Christians? Like hell would they? They'd be saying, hand it over, those getting confiscated. We are in a very, very scary world right now. And as Combat Ready HQ said, we're going to have 2 sides to this. We're going to have the patriots, who want their government to do their job, who want them to look after them, who want them to look after the country, who want to put the English first, who want to protect our children, who want this country to run like a fucking country in modern civilization, rather than caveman civilization in the Middle East. And then you have the Islamic extremists, you have the far left, if you will. You have Antifa, you have Stand Up to Racism, you have the Islamic community, you have the Socialist Workers' Party, you have those communists that are all banding together, who, as I've said before, and we'll say it here again, they've got far more coordination than us at the moment. Keywords, at the moment, but that might change. But they are more coordinated than us. When they want an army down somewhere, they can mobilize in an instant. Where are we? We're still disorganized, dysfunctional. And as I've said, I would never advocate for a civil war, violent revolution, people to break the law. But the cold, bitter truth is there is a very, very strong chance that a lot of people in the United Kingdom know exactly what's coming. And they are making the correct preparations for this. They are making all the preparations they physically can, so that when things kick off, they have a chance of survival. They have a chance to be able to see it through to the other side. And then we have the people that don't want to admit it, that will stand on that hill till their dying breath, which is admirable. And normally it would be the right thing to do. But the cold, bitter truth is, we cannot politically navigate our way out of this one. That ship is heading straight for the iceberg, and no amount of steering is going to do anything about that, quite frankly. The bottom line is this. Whether you like it or not, we will end up seeing the streets run red. No question about it. The question is it going to run red with the nonce party's colours flying down the streets? Or are we going to reclaim this country and make it flood a different colour for a different party? Or are we, perish the thought, going to have to go off to another war? I thought 2 world wars was enough. I thought the danger of Keir the traitor Starmer sending us off to Russia was bad enough. But there is a very, very real possibility that we're going to have to fight a war here on our own soil. And it won't be the fault of the far right, although ironically, devil's advocate, Islam could be ironically considered far right because of their fascistic views of believing that their religion is superior. It won't be us, who they brand as the far right, that is responsible for this. It'll be the responsibility of Starmer and his oligarchy. They are the only ones to blame when this all kicks off. And I am very, very worried. Martial law will be declared, no question about it. And it will be a matter of those who can fight will fight. Those who cannot fight need to stay off the streets. I would not wish harm on anyone who does not know a battle and would not seek it. I also would not wish harm onto any children or babies like the oligarchy would, or the Islamists would, or the lefties would. But I am very, very worried that we are a lot closer to Gaza than we think, metaphorically speaking, of course. It scares me. The mere idea that soon we will have to fight a war like Israel is against the terrorist organizations. It scares me to think that our roads will be painted a different color. And it won't be a color to rebuild the roads. It'll be a road that's founded with the color of human blood.